welcome for another Tune In Tuesday. We are the Patriots Raw. We are real,
Real
American,
American
women.
women.
That's right. And we are live streaming from the America First Warehouse in Ronkonkoma, New York, the most patriotic venue
In all the
in
land.
all the land. Welcome, everybody.
And we have our very dear friend Elena with us.
How are you?
Feeling good.
Feeling
Good.
good.
It's good to have you with
Feeling
us.
good. So Elena is
All the way from Queens, no less.
Yes, all the way from Queens she came. So we're
Thank
gonna
you
we
for
have
that.
we have a lot we're gonna pick up with after a couple of house cleaning, I guess, if you
Things.
want to call it that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, we'll recap the weekend a little
recap
bit.
the weekend. Yeah.
So we had an awesome night here on Saturday night. And fellas, if you want to bring up the Toby Keith cover band called American Ride, they packed out our house on Saturday night here at the America First Warehouse. It was so much fun. It was so patriotic. We had so many new faces.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they had there we go. This was towards the end of the night.
Great song.
It was so good. They did a whole patriotic ending, American Soldier, and courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. Line dancers showed up on our
Yep.
brand new dance floor.
Yep.
So we'll definitely have them back again. Please keep an eye out. You won't want to miss that. All of our regulars, where were you Saturday
Yeah.
night? You missed an awesome night.
And
so.
I need a hip replacement, and even I was dancing.
See? And if one more Patriot tells me it was too cold, I'm going to quote Jake Lang, who a lot of you know him from the news right now.
Yep.
He said, "There's no fear in a Patriot heart." Like, what are we doing, guys? We're not
That's it.
staying home because of the cold.
That's right.
It was very warm in here and a lot of fun,
It was a great time, great night, and they were a great band.
which transitioned into Super Bowl the next day.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm curious what everyone's thoughts were on that.
I did not watch the Super Bowl at all.
Me neither.
But I tuned into the All-American Turning Point halftime show,
Did you see that?
Yes.
and I
did.
loved it.
What did you think about it?
I loved it.
It was good, right?
It was good.
I love the music. I love just listening to music and watch people.
Now, did you guys catch there's some things I've read online where, because it confused me. Okay, this was interesting.
The Kid Rock thing?
Yeah, when he was first singing, I said to Ernie, is he lip syncing? I thought maybe there was like a disc, a delay or whatever, and he was, and I heard something afterwards. I'll get to that. And then, he came out as Kid Rock, and then all of a sudden it went to the violinist
Yep.
and the, I forgot what the other instrument.
cellist.
Cellist, yep. And I'm like, well, that was a...
And that was beautiful.
That was a rough transition to something different, and then brought him back out as Robert
Ritchie.
Ritchie.
Who he is. Yes.
which, and then, brought faith into it. So they're saying that was all supposed to be symbolic of him, transforming from the crazy, Kid Rock into this more wholesome Christian, patriot, I guess.
Yeah.
And even the lip syncing, someone said, was part of it because he's not that guy anymore, apparently.
Right.
So I didn't catch it all at the time, but it kind of makes sense to me now.
And I love the song. I love that last verse that he added.
The verse was
It's
beautiful.
beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, it was a beautiful verse.
And I think
so-
it topped the charts by the next day. It
I think it still is, I heard.
It surpassed Bad Bunny.
Yeah, yeah.
And by the way, Bad Bunny, I don't know, that whole thing, don't look up the lyrics, let me tell you
The
that.
lyrics were gross.
It's disgusting.
And I didn't watch it,
Yeah.
but someone was speaking about it on social media, I guess. I saw it somewhere. And I guess the ending of the Bad Bunny's performance, depicted a caravan coming over the border. Did you hear about that?
Oh, no.
I mean, it could have been
How
the way
weird
that
is that,
they,
right?
they were marching with every flag other, and the United States flag was like last in line just about. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
it's-
ridiculous. But, and I understand though that because of the vulgarity of all of the lyrics in his songs that were spoken completely in Spanish, that most people didn't understand, who don't speak Spanish, you wouldn't have any clue what they were saying. I believe there was a congressman who was filing a complaint with the FCC
Good.
because
Wow,
they would
good.
not allow that to happen in
Excellent.
English, and they could not put subtitles. They, could you imagine if they put subtitles on the
right.
screen for
Wow.
that kind of
Yeah,
language?
it's,
Oh my
it's
God!
such a mockery.
Oh, it was just ridiculous.
You're trying to have a family event. I haven't watched organized sports since they started kneeling for the flag and started putting LGBTQ patches on and Black Lives Matter patches
Yeah.
on. I cut that all out of my life a few years ago. But, my boys watched it, Ernie watched it. I made a lot of food and ate like a pig, but what else are you going to do on a cold Sunday in February? But,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it was interesting, to
Yes,
say the least.
yes. So, let's talk about what's going on in New York.
Well, let me tell the audience where
Yes.
Elena is from first and how
Yes.
we know her. I was fortunate to meet Elena a few years ago, somewhere in the freedom fight. We've all kind of crossed paths in many different ways. She's with the Queens Village Republican Club, which was how we really, I think initially got to know each other. And the chapter chair for Moms for Liberty Queens. She's holding it down in Queens with a bunch of other wonderful people in that chapter who have grown kids. So there's still people, there's no excuse to get involved with the kids' education. Because Elena, your children, we'll say, are grown, and you're still fighting the good fight for our children, I think because of your education,
Of course.
your love for education.
And you know, you should see what they write about us. The grandmas, what are these grandmas doing? I was once told, oh, I must have been a guidance counselor during Eisenhower's time. I mean, the vitriol is, I don't know what they have against grandmas, quite
Right?
honestly.
I love grandmas.
Grandmas
I
are
want more
great.
grandmas.
Like, is there anybody? But wait, isn't that age discrimination?
Yeah,
is.
right.
Like, you know.
You're right, it is.
Think about it.
Yeah.
The,
It is.
The ones that scream the loudest about being kind and not discriminating
That's
are the
right.
most discriminatory.
That's
They
right.
are the most racist,
That's
for
right.
sure. And I think it's wonderful, honestly. I have nothing but love and respect for what you guys are doing, and clearly, you know, Queens needed that chapter, and I'm always happy to support that, as you know, any way
Thank
we
you.
can. And if you want to give a little bit of history about your education, you know, your experience and your career in education.
I had 23 and a half years as a guidance counselor in elementary school in Queens. For the most part, I loved my job. I loved the kids, but it got to a point where I'm like, this is my job as a guidance counselor. Well, I can't do it anymore then.
Yeah.
It's just, and you couldn't disagree. You couldn't say you thought something was wrong. I couldn't say that what I reported parents for, now educators are doing, and how did we become the abusers? I used to have to report parents on this stuff. So I became sort of like an outcast after voicing my
My
opinion.
favorite kind.
Yeah, and I had 2 years to go. And I said, well, if this is what I have to do to children, and I also saw the negative impact it was having on the kids.
Yeah.
I saw it firsthand. I heard their confusion. You know, little kids shouldn't have to give a disclaimer when they speak, like, no offense,
But-
but,
you're
no
right.
offense, but,
Right.
you know, what are we doing to them? And then COVID. COVID made me ashamed to be an educator, I'm going to be honest with
Yeah.
you. What we did to kids during COVID, it was
horrible,
atrocious.
horrible.
And I just
I'm
said,
proud of
you
you
know
for
what?
saying that,
Gotta
though.
go.
Yeah.
Gotta go. If I can't help kids and advocate for them in the system, I have to be in a place where I can.
Good for you.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And not easy to walk away from a career that you loved.
No.
So
No.
we girls on our own team, like Donna,
Donna.
who's not with us.
Yeah, she
you know,
walked
was
away
in the NICU, taking care of babies for so many years. She loved it. She's cut out for that, but she had to walk away
She
because
walked
of
away
the
from a-
politics and the the mandates.
Nursing career, pension, everything, walked away.
So
And
we
that's
really
why
commend.
it's so important. You're standing on your principles, you
And I
know?
do it again.
Yeah,
I do it
100%.
again.
God bless you for that. I
100%,
love that. That's
thank
why
you.
she's our friend. See, she's amazing.
And God put us together.
He sure
Yep.
did. And I will tell you, I always
Wild.
say that when the world was losing so much during the pandemic, I started in the freedom fight, and suddenly he brought me some of the best people in my life that I've ever met.
Yep.
I come from a big family, but I'll be honest, I consider my Patriot family my deepest bonds.
Yeah.
And I don't take that lightly. So I'm very grateful for that.
I was
It's all
telling-
about love for us.
Yeah.
right?
It is,
Love of
yeah.
country, love of family,
That's
love
right.
of children. you
did,
know.
and knowing that you have an army behind you to fight these things together, you know. And I say this all the time. I have friends from the tip of out East Long Island all the way to upstate New York that if I didn't do this freedom fight, we wouldn't maybe know each other.
That's right.
So there was a big blessing for this, and I think strength in numbers and unity is key.
That's right.
And we all support each other, and we'll talk more about things that are coming up and how we all support each other too. So with that, Elena came to me recently with this information about these two bills that New York is, a senator in New York is proposing. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yes,
on that?
there are two bills in committee right now. One was sponsored by Senator John Liu, that's S6123, and the other by Assemblyman Charles Levine, ACE 3966.
Hold on one second. Guys, if you can just bring up real quick, asset 2 and 3, cut 2 and 3. Those are a little description on the bills as well. Sorry, go ahead.
And both bills would amend New York State education law to require instruction about the January 6th, 2021 Capitol insurrection and its aftermath as part of mandated history civics education for students in all schools across the state, public and private, for children age 8 and older.
Okay.
Yeah. The smoke is coming out of the ears.
Every time I hear that, first of all, you don't have to say it if you don't want to. I don't know if you were there or not.
It wasn't an insurrection by us.
I wasn't. Sadly, I wasn't.
Yeah.
We were there.
Yep.
And so I love that I could say that because I saw firsthand what was happening. And even if you didn't have to go by me and what I say, if it was an insurrection or not, which it clearly wasn't, but it wasn't. None of the J6s were charged with insurrection. So I told the ladies before, my nephew, who will be 8 next year, could potentially be in a classroom where his teacher is now going to tell him the people that were at January 6th are insurrectionists and they breached the Capitol. I mean, this is insane.
He's going to come home and say, Aunt T.
Yeah, well, good thing my brother will. My nephew's a little Trump supporter. He got in trouble last year in kindergarten for promoting Trump on Election Day. But my point is, he'll be okay. But what about all the other young minds that they're going to, indoctrinate with this garbage? Plus, there's a new J6 committee. There are still people in legal. I don't want to say in trial. Is it trial still? In legal situations with
I would
this.
say, yeah.
In fact, you'll see in a little while, we have a great guest, Stuart Rhodes, on. He's a commuted J6er. He didn't want to plead guilty because nobody was really guilty on, most people weren't guilty on January 6th. So this is another example how New York has basically hijacked our children's education. When we come back, we'll give you some more details on the other bills. We'll weigh on it some more. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back.
You've worked hard and saved, but inflation and increased money supply are eroding your buying power. Protect and grow your wealth with physical gold and silver. Sound Money. With a Sound Money wallet, your wealth stays in your control. Buy fractionally, vault securely, ship directly, and instantly liquidate your gold and silver at the highest buyback price in the industry. Real money, real ownership. Visit tafwsoundmoney.info or scan the QR code and start securing your financial future today.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA Store.
The America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
Welcome back to the Patriots podcast. Sorry for my outburst, but I get mental when it comes to the children. And then we just learned some more stuff in the break that I'm going to have Elena share with you because, well, this will explain itself. Unless you want to touch on the other bill first.
Well, we're just going to bring up the cuts 5, let's see, they were 5 and 6, I believe. It's the assembly portion of the bill, which is like a piggyback to the initial one. Is that correct, Elena?
I think
Yes.
it's a...
Yes, okay, so it's like in addition to, it's a
Support
companion
bill.
to it. Yeah,
That's the word I was looking for.
yeah. And it's also co-sponsored by a number of other assembly members.
Well, the Senate bill has 6 sponsors, and the Assembly bill has 18 so far.
I don't...
Don't even know what to say.
Well, the problem is it wasn't an insurrection, so
Right.
I was trying to talk to, and we'll bring Stuart on in a little bit, but it's like, what are the legalities here? How do you really, but to me, the simplest answer is, wasn't ever, I mean, yeah, the mainstream media called it an insurrection, but
Right.
nobody was charged with that.
That's the narrative.
So it's like,
Right.
how do you put education in on something that isn't
Real.
an insurrection?
Well, basically, you're ignoring due process, because if even all the leftist courts of law couldn't stick one insurrection charge on over 1,500 people.
That's right.
So John Liu and the other sponsors think, well, if the courts couldn't do it, well, we're going to do it.
Right.
And they have a captive audience to convince.
Especially here in New York.
So
It's
it just
infuriating.
totally ignores the judicial branch of government.
Yep, yep.
That's such
Oh, my
bullshit.
goodness.
I'm even cursing now, look at that. So, to give an example of what has happened at the Capitol, I'm like shocked from what you just told us about.
Yeah, the justification of the bill, if you look in the bill, it says, "Not since the War of 1812, when British forces set fire to the Capitol, have the halls of power in Washington been overtaken by violent intruders as they were on January 6th." Well, that is an absolute lie.
Lies.
Because in 1954, Puerto Rican nationalists attacked the Capitol and wounded 5 congressmen. In 1971, the Weather Underground, a far-left terror group, bombed the Capitol in the protest of the Vietnam War. And the only reason no one got hurt, I think it was, no one was there at the time.
Got
if
it.
I got that
But
right.
they bombing buildings. I can't.
Okay, and in 1983, another left-wing group called the Resistance Conspiracy, linked to a communist organization, bombed the Capitol, causing huge property damage, and that was in retaliation of military actions the government had in Grenada and Lebanon.
Bombing the building.
Nothing to see here, folks.
Well, what, even like a year or two ago, remember when they were in session and all these people came in and started disrupting the House floor
Yes,
and went
yeah,
into the...
yes.
I mean, nothing, and all these were left-wing
Yes,
groups, so...
yes. There you go.
So if they're going to teach all of that as an insurrection, well, maybe, if that's going to bring up the reading scores and improve the literacy of our kids in New York, where we spend more money than any other state, any other city in the country on education and get the worst results.
It's mind-numbing that in
Yeah.
the United States of America, we fall so low under the standard, it's hard to fathom that in this great country, our kids are below standard
It's-
across the board. And so this...
It's horrible.
It's
just
horrible.
So instead of any real education reform, this is what they're choosing to do, because I guess they think this is going to improve reading scores and math scores. Or make kids want to come to school because,
Well, they're too busy with, transgender storytime hour and this garbage that they put out and indoctrinate them with.
it's age inappropriate to begin with.
Yeah.
8
Half
years
of what
old?
they teach kids is totally, they have no understanding of, an insurrection.
Or even like you said the other day, but the books we knew about, because we were at so many different board meetings helping to fight the books that they give to children, but you mentioned even comic books the other day, like, it's just, nothing is sacred anymore when it comes to our children.
Civics is no longer civics as we learned it. It's activism.
It
And,
is.
and it's, that was the point at which I said, oh, I have to go. When I had to give comic books to kids about activism, I don't think parents send their kids to school to
right.
become activists.
Right.
No.
right.
And yet not know how to read or do math.
Absolutely not. They're becoming indoctrinated, obedient social justice warriors.
They don't even say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore from,
Thankfully, our school does.
yeah, in many, many schools, they don't.
But
They
what-
don't.
they don't teach kids cursive anymore, which I learned in like first grade in Catholic school. That's the law of the land is written in script, so I think that is by design. My daughter was in 10th grade 3 years ago, and she texted me at work and said, "Mom, can you believe I was the only student in my class who knew the Fourth Amendment?" And I was like, it got me thinking.
Well, you have it on the wall in
I
your
know,
kitchen.
I'm a little bit neurotic. I mean, I have a We the People tattoo, but yes, me aside, they don't even teach the kids our law of the land.
No.
So like, I pulled my kids out, and I know many people can't. My dream is to see the schools empty, because they're learning stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I again, really commend you for taking that stance, because it's not easy to do. So now, with these bills, which will be mandatory, right? It's mandatory education. It's going to be mandatory for ages 8 and older. This will apply to public and private schools, and this is a good point I'd like to bring up. You know, I have a lot of friends, when education comes up, they'll say, "Oh, but my kids are in private school. Oh, but I might put my kids in private school." What you have to understand is private schools still take government funding. So like, just like during the pandemic, they had to be masked and follow all the rules. If they took the money from the government, they had to fall in line with the marching orders. So yes, private school could be a better option, but your kids are still going to be subjected to learning stuff like this.
And it actually says in the bill, failure to provide this instruction could affect equivalency status for private schools.
See? So they're going to get
So-
you.
Yep.
They're dangling, they're threatening you, basically.
Yeah.
When is this bill supposed to go up for vote?
I think it was March, I believe I read online. I think it was March. Actually,
sure.
Adam, if you can, sorry, I don't usually say
Let me
names
see.
to the control room. That's a code name, actually. That's not even his real name. What was the asset for the bills online, the 2 QR codes?
Asset number 6.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, so just for our audience, if you guys want to take a
Yeah.
screenshot of that, Asset 6 is a QR code to each of the bills on the New York Gov site, and we'll pop that up again in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the next asset, 7, this one takes you to a page on the government site where you can vote yea or nay on the bill. So I voted nay, obviously, yesterday, and I encourage you all to do that. But I also included the senator's Albany phone number and his, I think, Bayside phone number and his email address, and I encourage everybody to start calling and emailing. I haven't called or emailed yet, but I plan to.
This is John Liu, right?
Yep, Senator John Liu, I think his office is in Bayside, Queens.
Yeah, be ahead of the curve, though. Call your senator before they have a chance
Yes.
to
Yeah.
sponsor it. Call your assemblyman before they have
Right,
it.
right.
Just let them know from
Absolutely.
the get-go,
Right.
absolutely not.
Yes, besides calling the senator, yes, call your own local officials as well.
It's history that's not even settled. They have no
Right.
business. It's totally political. It
Yeah.
politicizes the classroom.
That's right.
It's just ridiculous.
You're saying politicize the classroom just the same way that they're doing with the kids that are out in their schools during the school day protesting ICE on the sides of the road. You know, it's completely political with that.
I mean,
These kids
especially
don't
in the
even know what they're
aftermath of what
doing.
just happened. People died there, and
Yes.
I'm not upset. I mean, I know I sound heartless. I have no sympathy for Freddie and Good. I just don't. I'm sorry. And again, I want to do preface, everything we're saying are our own opinions.
yeah.
They don't affect ourselves, the organizations that we're from or that we're affiliated with. Each one of us, you know, the America First Warehouse and the America First Media and Television is a platform to offer truth that we believe, you know, each one of us believes is truth, and
Yep.
we give that to you guys, but this is what we all individually feel. And luckily,
It
we're all
doesn't
in-
even align with the standards, the New York State standards, if
Mm-hmm.
you look at it. It's not in line with the standard,
Which
their
must
very
be
own
so
standards.
frustrating to someone who's been in the education system for so long,
Yeah.
understanding. Is that the NICEAD standards, or is it,
The
yeah?
state standards.
Oh, the state standards are insane.
Yeah.
And the only thing, I mean, and on this show, we like to offer solutions, and my immediate solution is pull your kids out of school. The one thing I've been saying for years now, since the pandemic, when I really started to learn how bad this all was, is to at least make your kids the watchdogs in the schools. So if you're on our side of this and you want normal education for your kids, you have to start, and I'm going to give an example because your child could come home in second grade, 8 years old, second, third grade, and you could ask your kid, what did you learn in school today? Because I have boys and girls, but Boys, I don't know. What would you learn in history? Oh, we learned about the Capitol. And most parents would go about their day
Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
not knowing
Yeah.
what that really means. But you got to dig a little deeper because it's not as benign as it comes off, obviously. And I dealt with that a few years ago when they showed my daughter some social justice girl on a video talking about dismantling the NRA and banning guns. And when I called the school, like flipping out, they were like, well, that was a class to show, it was called Public Speaking Day. I'm like, well, that's the video they showed my kids? And again, normally in my older year, many years ago, I would have said, oh, what'd you do in school today? Oh, we watched a video. I would have just kept cooking dinner and not asked any more questions. But you have to, and the reason why my daughter called me for that video was because that whole summer, from going from 2020 and school year, I kept saying, if they're teaching you any of this, you got to let me know. And my daughter said, I think they're teaching me something you don't want me to learn.
Right.
So you got to teach your kids to be the watchdog and report back to you what they're learning. Pay more attention. I know it's hard. You have multiple kids in school and what the curriculum is, but you have to be engaged in their academics because this is the garbage they're teaching our children. So we're going to come back to, go ahead, finish your thought. We have
What
30
kids
seconds.
hear and what adults hear are often two different things.
That's
So
true.
kids, dig deep. Just because they know the words doesn't mean they understand the
understand
meaning.
it.
That's
Right.
true, too.
Okay, you have to really dig deep. And as a counselor, I realized that. Like, I would have kids now, many kids coming to me and telling me they're gay. And, I would say, well, just to see if they even understand what that means, because I suspected they didn't. And I would ask, and it means I like my girlfriends better than boys.
Oh, that's
Well,
crazy.
What's normal for a fourth grade girl? I mean,
That's right. We're going to come back to that in 1 second. We're going to go to break and we'll finish that thought with Stuart and Elena. Thank you.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just two entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW, making travel great again.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
I'm sure you guys remember the platinum single, Justice for All, with Donald Trump and the J6 Prison Choir. Well, get ready for round two. We're coming out with Anthem of the Free with High Res and the J6 Prison Choir. It's coming out now. It's pre-sale until December 19th when it drops. Get yours on all platforms, Google Play, Apple iTunes. Get it. It's going to be hot.
Justice for all, our voices ring. The anthem of the free.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see. A symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
Welcome back to the Patriots Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We are going to bring in our good friend Stuart Rhodes in 1 second, but you want to finish your thought on that?
Well, I just wanted to say that should these bills pass, it sets a very dangerous precedent. The state should not get to declare guilt. That happens in banana
Amen.
republics, okay?
Amen.
It's courts of law and due process.
That's right.
That people are afforded, and that it's determined in a court of law, not by the state. So
That's
to
right.
pass this bill would be to say the state gets to decide what was an insurrection.
Amen.
It's important we get this out, we get this word
We
out
do.
about this, because parents, we were talking before we came on, and how many parents are even aware that this is going
most
on?
aren't.
Exactly.
Most aren't. And then when you hear our dear friend Stuart Rhodes, can we bring him on, fellas? Hi, Stuart, how are you?
Hi, Stuart.
Hi, Stuart.
Hey, how you doing? I can't see you yet, though.
Oh, still, okay. I wonder, that stinks, because we do see you.
Okay,
They're
they're
okay,
fixing
they're
it.
working on it. So I'll tee up for a second, and Stuart, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying anything in the wrong manner, but Stuart is a good friend of ours at the warehouse. He is a commuted J6er, still trying to fight for his full pardon, which he obviously fully deserves.
Absolutely.
However, I give him the utmost respect for sticking to his conviction on the fact that he wasn't guilty that day, because most weren't. And he is the founder of the Oath Keepers, which he's, bringing back to full life again, and we're going to help get that done for him too. So, and he's an attorney. And when Elena brought this to us the other day,
A recovering lawyer.
what was that?
I said, I'm a recovering lawyer, like being a recovering.
Recovering
Lawyer, right. And I left out the most
most
important
important.
thing, that he's a veteran, and that's
Yes.
our favorite kind.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
It was paratrooping, right?
Yes, I was a paratrooper until I was disabled, right?
Yes, and I think that was in combat. So he is the
No, no,
All-American.
it was not.
It wasn't
I
in
was
combat.
No, it was a training accident. It was a parachuting accident. So I have a spinal fusion.
That's
But-
right.
And what's probably more pertinent is that I saw it in college, and then I graduated from Yale Law School in 2004. And I saw that, the vast majority of the professors, this is back then, were Marxists, self-avowed Marxists. So imagine how much worse it is now.
That's right.
So I really believe the educational system is completely broken in this country, and the only option really is to homeschool. That's what I would
Right.
tell all the parents out there.
Yep.
100%.
And find a way is what I would say. Just
Yeah.
find a way. Because otherwise, you may as well just drop your kids off at the local Communist Party USA office.
That's
I
right.
say that all the
Social
time.
Democratic
That's right.
office, and let AOC, teach them all day. That's what you're doing now when you take them to a public school. I mean, are there a few exceptions? Of course. The lady there that spent her career being an exception, but she's the exception to the rule. So I don't believe you're going to fix this.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
easy, but I pulled my kids out, and I say that on so many shows. I want to see the schools emptied because of this garbage.
Yep.
So
Right.
Stuart and I got to talk a little bit before the show, and I had sent him the bills. But I want to ask you, as a J6er who went through what you went through, which we could touch on
Right.
that. I don't know if a lot of us know
Sure.
your story, which
Well, I can just tell in a nutshell. So myself and the other Oath Keepers and Proud Boys were singled out because of who we were, to be charged with seditious conspiracy. And the reason why they used that rather than insurrection, for example, is that seditious conspiracy was an old Civil War statute passed by the Lincoln administration, to make it easy to go after political opponents of the war. And it has no act element, intentionally left out. Most conspiracy statutes have an act element requiring you to take, acts in furtherance of the conspiracy. Like, for example, with the Puerto Rican separatists, they went into the House gallery for visitors and brought guns in and opened fire on the legislators. They actually shot legislators and tried to kill them. So that's an example of an act, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
so the statute they used against us required no act element, and they ended up using our free speech against us. So it's just absolute absurdity, complete nonsense on stilts. So yeah, I think that this attempt by the lefties in the legislature to codify and force teachers to teach that false narrative, I think it's frankly a First Amendment violation also of the free speech of the teachers. It's compelling their speech, and also of the students. And I'm sure some leftist judge in New York will find some way to justify it. They can justify anything. That's the problem with judges. But it's just letting you know, I think there really is a First Amendment issue there, because they're attempting to compel a communist rewrite of history. So.
That's
my
right.
2 cents on that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Do you,
Where is our world going to?
I don't
So you got to pull
understand.
your kids out of public school, and not just out of public school, but apparently private schools, right? Because private schools are compelled to, go lockstep in this.
They are,
So
and that's
they-
the problem.
They should fight this on First Amendment grounds. You can't compel us to teach, your narrative. Like you can't make me your puppet in my classroom. I was a substitute teacher while I was going through college, and it never entered my mind that I would be compelled to say certain words in a class. So.
See, so this has been, I mean, we know this has been going on. What was it was the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds that started this demise of education back in like the 60s. I think it's been trickling down
Yeah.
since the 60s till now.
Well, read John Taylor Gatto's book, Weapons of Mass Instruction.
Yes.
He talks about the history of
Excellent.
public schools. Yeah.
It's
So
it's been progressive since its inception, public school.
Yeah, that's
Really
right.
has. It's a great book, by the way.
Is it? Yeah.
That's great. All right, I'll let Angie read it and tell me the cliff notes.
Give me the cliff notes.
Right.
Only because I'm always so busy. But I'm going to heed both your advice because this is, I think, for me, my last child is a senior now and they're homeschooled. So I kind of stopped fighting the school fight as much as I was a few years ago. But that's not really fair to do because I'm worried about the education of all students in this country.
Good
and,
for you. Well, just encourage all the parents to pull their kids out of school. I mean, I'm just, I understand how you want to fight, and I get it. And yes, you should. But the real answer really is to divorce yourself from that machine because all it's going to do is turn out little Marxes.
You're
It's gonna
right.
turn out
Just
Little
stop
carbon
it.
copies
Just-
of Karl Marx.
Well, and
Look at that when you send a kid to college. I know a lot of people who sent their kid to college, paid a bunch of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then they see this person walk through the door they don't recognize.
even know who it is
that was my
anymore.
sister, Stuart.
Yes.
I don't know who
Yeah.
I don't talk to her, unfortunately. I mean, I love my sister, and she's my baby sister, but she was completely indoctrinated. It's like, there's 4 of us. How does one kid, she went to a very liberal school in Staten Island, and she came back a totally different person. And my son's up in Albany right now in one of the most liberal schools in New York. He's graduating in May. And there's no choice in my home. Yeah, I told my kids very clearly, in this house, we are about God and country. It's God, Jesus, and Donald Trump. That's not my nippy for everybody. This is my home. And I said, you will not sleep in this house if you come back from college indoctrinated. You will not be welcome here. This just doesn't fly in my house. So, I have friends that say, I have 2 kids that are conservative, one's liberal. I feel bad for them because I don't have to experience that, but I won't tolerate that in my own home. So,
I thank God my daughter, who is 30 now, she was in college in like 87-ish. Thank God that she came out of it.
wait, in 87?
She graduated in, not 87, I'm sorry.
I was like,
Wait, sorry.
she's not that old.
Wrong year, 17.
I was going to say, she's not that old.
Good year. But yeah, she came out of it like she was on that cusp of where they could have
Started to
been,
get
or
weird.
they, maybe indoctrinate or not. And she, thank God, is not. And they decide to have children. Her kids are being homeschooled. It's already a decision. It's already been made before they even have them. That's it. There's
Amen.
no,
You know,
there's
what's
no
happening
option.
now that is worse and worse is that it was on the college level. So at least the kids had the background. Some of them had
A
the
good
conservative
foundation.
background
Yes.
and foundation.
Yes.
But now it's starting
It's in the
younger
young
and younger.
age, right.
And now think about how early they bring kids to school.
Right.
You know, I
Right.
had 2.5-year-olds in my school. So once you get them that young, you'll never get them back
No.
again.
Yeah, yeah.
Because all the college students who want to become a teacher have to, they have to get a college degree. So they get brainwashed by communist professors, turned into communists, and then when they go into the classrooms, they're a bunch of communists. Like I said, you may as well drop your kids off at the local Communist Party USA headquarters.
And
or
especially
with
in
the
New York.
Democratic Socialist headquarters. What's that?
Especially here in New York. I don't know
Yeah,
if
or
you
just
knew
drop them off
this.
at Mayor Mandami's
Yeah.
offices. There you go. Let his staff take care of them all day. There's no difference. Just letting you know.
There isn't. But New York really likes to double down. I'm sure you were very busy when this was happening last year. Actually, I don't even think you were out of the gulag yet when this happened last year. When we voted
No,
on
I
election.
just got out January 2025. That's when President
That's
Trump
right. Okay, so
commuted
this
our
was
sentence.
right
That's
before for the 2024 election. New York had a proposition on the back that sounded very benign and pretty, basically like, it was like civil rights, like everybody wants their civil rights,
Right.
right?
We already had them.
Well, we already had them. But with this, when you read deeper into this proposition, you basically were, and you might be more familiar with this than I am now, but they basically gave full rights to the school to do basically anything they wanted to our children. I mean, really what that was,
It was a
right?
way of getting bills through that were largely unpopular. So once you made it a state mandate and stuck it all in under one umbrella and sold it as an abortion bill, so nobody even knew what it was.
Now
There
we
you
have
go.
New York it's in our
on the
Constitution
Constitution.
now. So our schools have so much power in New York, is my point. And it's really hard to combat stuff like this. But I don't know, me being a J6er myself and me having such a, this is our world, and obviously you know how we feel about J6 and what the warehouse is involvement with that. This particularly burns my blood.
Yeah.
It's just a blatant lie they're going to teach our children. And I don't know, I mean, does it make you as crazy as I do? You're so much more chiller than I am, Stu.
I'm just, I'm used to it. If I let this bother me, I spent over a year in solitary confinement. If I let things bother me, then they win. So I'm still going to fight them, but I'm not going to let them get under my skin. So, and I just think we have to realize where you're at. This is essentially, a civil war, and we're fighting a counterinsurrection against a leftist communist insurrection that's been ongoing now for many decades.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the only real way to win is you got to follow the founders' model. That's what I would think. Because the American Revolution, it was in large part also a civil war. You had the loyalists to the king who continued to fight in the field against other fellow Americans. A lot of people don't realize that. They think of, all the Americans fighting the crown. It wasn't like that. There were actually
Stuart,
more.
will you stay with us if we go to commercial break and finish that thought?
Sure.
We're going to cut to commercial. Be right back.
Have you noticed your money just doesn't stretch like it used to? Your paycheck feels lighter, and your savings aren't growing. The culprits? Inflation and increased money supply. They've both been quietly eating away at your purchasing power for years. Today, the dollar's value has dropped significantly. You feel it every time you spend money on goods and services. Back in 1965, $1 or an ounce of silver could buy you a gallon of milk. Fast forward to today. That same dollar barely buys a couple of coffee creamers, while an ounce of silver would get you 8 gallons of milk. Gold and silver have held their value for centuries. If you had 2,500 ounces of silver back in 1965, you could buy a brand new Ford Mustang. Today, 2,500 ounces of silver would buy you 2 Mustangs. Similarly, in the year 2000, 628 ounces of gold would buy a new $170,000 home. Today, 628 ounces would buy you a $2,500,000 home. The problem? 95% of Americans don't own physical gold or silver. They think it's too complicated and too expensive, but it doesn't have to be. We offer a membership program that allows you to buy gold or silver with as little as $1. You can buy fractional amounts, safely vault them, or have them delivered to your doorstep, and you can liquidate them whenever you want at the highest buyback price in the industry. Ready to protect your wealth and keep your purchasing power? Scan the QR code or go to tafw.soundmoney.com to learn more.
If the vote count is accurate, then how come the number of voters is different? And if it's not accurate, then why was it certified? We are suing Letitia James and the New York State Board of Elections for a conspiracy against fundamental rights. This is not about who won, it's not about what party, it's about the fact that they don't care about your rights.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
It's me, Joe the Box. And I'm John the Blanket with the America First Podcast.
That's what I'm talking about, the Fred Rubino Podcast.
I'm James Justice. We got Stephen Ruth over here. What are we doing, Steve? Fighting!
Welcome to the Patriots Podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse.
Welcome to Liberty's Cage, the podcast tearing down the walls of America's broken justice system.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Downey Jr. Podcast. Be free, stay free.
The America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
Welcome back to the Patriots Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I just giggled to myself as I watched our commercial of all of our shows because it looks so clean and neat coming on the screen, but if they only knew what went on behind the scenes, I'm like, wow, that looks good. But thank you for tuning in. We're already in the fourth segment already, which goes so fast.
Just
but
flew.
we have our dear friends with us, Elena from Queens County Moms for Liberty. She's the chair, and our good friends at Queens Village Republican Club. On with us via Zoom is Stuart Rhodes, veteran, a J6er, attorney, a substitute teacher back in the day, we just found out.
All around great guy.
And yeah, all around great guy. And you know what, Stuart, I want to tell you that when you were here a few weeks ago, you really captivate the audience because I think your character is so admirable, and it's especially when you talked about, and we could go into that a little bit. I know it's not really on the topic, but if you want to tell a little bit of your story, you know, and being in solitary confinement, and the mindset that you had with being a trained, you know, military serviceman, I just love you, and I think everybody, you know, should get to know who Stuart Rhodes is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I saw myself as a POW. But the bigger point I want to make is Alexander Solzhenitsyn, you know, the famous Russian dissident who spent 10 years in the Gulag. He wrote a really awesome essay I encourage you to read. It was called Live Not by Lies, where he urged people that you cannot participate in a lie. The first line of resistance is simply not to participate.
Right.
And so, like you said in this essay, it's only a 2-page essay if you go look it up online, but he says if you're in a meeting where lies are being spoken, get up and walk out. That's the first line of resistance. So for all the teachers, you cannot participate in a lie. If you're being told that you must teach your students that January the 6th was an insurrection, you know, worse than anything since the 1812, you know, burning of the Capitol by British troops, that's a lie. And if you participate in that, you're helping destroy our country. So the first line is don't participate in a lie.
Amen.
And that's why I refused to take a deal. I'm not going to participate in the big lie is that January 6th was an insurrection. That was the big lie. They wanted to compel us. That's why the solitary confinement, to try to coerce us into false confessions and then false testimony against President Trump. That was their goal. You know, we could have all gone home, you know.
It was the cover-up of the real insurrection.
That's why I always say, you know, the back of my shirt I had made, the real insurrection happened on November 3rd of 2020, and January 6th of 2021 was the cover-up.
Exactly.
And,
it was their Reichstag fire manipulated event that they used to cover for what they had done. They were pulling a coup. We were anti-coup.
Absolutely. Talk about sedition and conspiracy, right?
Right. Yeah. So it's projection. I mean, look, this is what Satan does, right? He's the father of all lies.
Absolutely.
And so it's always projection, accusing you what they're doing, and then massive gaslighting that what you saw right in front of your own eyes didn't happen. Whether it's the election, whether it's COVID, or whether it's January 6th itself. You see people wandering through and taking selfies. Oh no, that's not just, you know, a protest. That's actually an insurrection. So it's all lies. And so everyone has to make an individual decision to follow Solzhenitsyn's advice. Because if you don't, then you're helping to destroy your own country. And I'm talking to every parent and every teacher. What
That's
you
right.
do matters, and it matters to your kids. So you're going to give your children over to Satan, basically. That's what this is. It's an ideology. It's from the synagogue of Satan. So that's the ideology.
So true,
that
Stuart.
with.
And
so
I
make
want
a
the
decision
audience. Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought. Did I
No,
interrupt you?
that's
Okay.
it. Make a decision. That's what you're doing. So either you take control of your children's education and then do the right thing for your kids as a parent, or you're just giving them over to sacrifice to Moloch, basically.
Absolutely.
They're going to be brain, and that's look what they're doing now.
That's
They're
what
not
we're
just
doing,
screwing around with their heads. Now they're screwing around with their bodies. Your kids are going to be, you know, sexually manipulated and abused and disfigured under these people's.
It's so
quote,
true.
Yeah.
And Angie was with me the entire way. I was fighting my school board like a psycho back in 2020, 2021. I have to say, it's not comfortable, guys. It's not easy.
No.
I had friends, I want to join you, but I'm afraid they'll retaliate on my kids. I'm not as bold as you are to get in front of, you know, a microphone. I
don't
sit
know
at a
how you do
microphone
it.
here.
I don't know how you do it.
You know, but Angie will tell you, my knees were knocking. It was uncomfortable. I was the face of my school fighting for the kids. And everybody was like leaning on me to be the face of that. And I had to be poised and respectful. And I was,
Yep, and you always were.
And I had to go screaming in the superintendent's office and causing protests. None of this is easy, but the best things in life don't come easy. If you want your kids to live in a sane world and have a good education, you have to shake things up and you have to be bold because no one else is going to do it for you. There's no savior. You are responsible to be the advocate for your own children.
That's right.
And I spent a lot of money to live in one of the best school districts, not only on Long Island, but in the country. And my 5 generations of my family went to in my school district. And my number one dream was to keep my kids in the school district that they're in. But I had to make a very tough decision 3 years ago to pull them out because what kind of phony would I be standing as a frontline freedom fighter, being in the trenches, fighting against school boards, and then still sending my kids, like Stuart is saying, into the lion's den?
Yep.
It wasn't easy. You know, my daughter was captain of the cheer team. My son played varsity football. I tried to make their childhood normal and have a good life in our town, but my daughter's science teacher is telling her biological men can have babies. Or my nephew who will be 7 next week and will be... That was one of the last straws, by the way, Stuart. There was a lot...
That was the law.
That was
You
one of the
wouldn't
last
partake
ones
in.
where I was like...
That's right.
And then the school retaliated and called CPS on me. So, psycho stuff that I've been
Yes.
through.
And
There
then
you
you
go.
prayed with
Yeah.
the then you prayed with the
And
social
then I prayed with
worker
the
at your
social worker
table.
because she was pissed off they even called her
Yeah.
because they clearly knew that was retaliation,
Yeah.
and it was unfounded. But
One thing I'll add to what I said before is that I'm not saying don't fight, okay? I'm just saying don't give your kids over. But there's also utility in the people who, conservatives should run for school board, and you should appear at meetings and give them peace of your mind. I'm just saying, just make sure that your own children, just make sure that they're not being poisoned. Just find a way.
that's right.
But yeah, and when you go into those meetings like that, you're not doing it necessarily for your kids. You're doing it for all the other kids whose parents aren't there,
That's
aren't
right.
aware of what's happening, and this is part of your, part of the fight is to educate the other parents.
Yeah.
So true. It's so true.
And that's what we need to do as far as these bills go right now.
These kids can't protect themselves.
Yeah.
And then you have doctors, you have educators, you have all of these people who are supposed to protect them.
Yeah.
And none of them, not their parents, many of them, their parents are not protecting them. Somebody's got to protect these
right.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first generation that's ever put adults before children. I
Mhm.
never thought I'd live to see it.
Yeah.
Gross. And like you said,
And
it's
Elena,
gross.
let me ask you a question. So are there any teachers who are standing up and speaking out, or any doctors that are standing up and speaking out against all this nonsense?
I think now
In
they're
New York
starting
City.
to, the doctors and the Plastic Surgeon Association and all, only because of a lawsuit. A lawsuit was just paid out. Otherwise, who knows how long this would go on before somebody spoke out. Me, where I was personally, nobody. Nobody got behind me, nobody spoke out.
I have
You're the
two
only, you're the
friends.
only one.
Well, I have friends that are conservative teachers, and they tell me that they refuse to, like if the curriculum says about, DEI or CRT, they won't really, it's so anti what they believe in. But so many people, it drives me crazy, and I get it, but I don't get it. You do have a choice, just like Elena had a choice. She lost her pension and decided to leave to say, I'm not doing this anymore. Just like our
Right.
friends left the nursing careers. I would have lived in a cardboard box before I got vaccinated. I mean, that was just my choice. Everybody had a choice. Let's just be real. It wasn't an easy choice, and you might have lost a lot of your livelihood, but everybody had a choice.
That's right.
And so you're either going to play in this system or you're not. And like I said, I pulled my kids out, but it terrifies me that my nephew is going to learn stuff like this. And for some reason, this J6 insurrection one is burning my blood.
Yeah, it's personal.
It's personal.
It's very personal.
And that's why I wanted to have Stuart, weigh in on this too. And there's many J6ers we know, but
Because
how-
we know what happened there. We know. What
they
went
know
on.
what happened there.
Of course they do.
Like
but
the-
it's
Natasha Owens
infuriating.
song.
It
We
is.
know it. They know it.
Yeah.
You know it. I know it.
What's
Yeah,
scary
that's
to me?
another famous quote from Solzhenitsyn. They're lying. You know they're lying. They know they're lying.
It's
And
so
yet
true.
Yeah.
they continue to lie. Yeah. Exactly.
And basically, it's going to tell the next generation their due process doesn't matter because, whoever's in charge gets to decide who's
What the
guilty or
narrative
innocent.
is.
That's right.
It's so crazy.
It's like, what happens to due process? What happens to,
That's right.
the judicial branch of government? It doesn't exist anymore. It becomes irrelevant. This
Yeah.
is how it all starts.
Absolutely.
They chip
Until it-
away at it slowly and patiently.
Yeah,
Until it
desensitize
collapses.
you.
Yep.
Well, I am so grateful to have you bring this to my attention because we will start to put this out on our platforms more and get eyes behind it. Fellas in the control room, can you bring up that the QR codes again that show the bills so our audience can just have another chance to screenshot that? And Also the bill for Senator Lieu, the asset for Senator Lieu, and call your local congressmen and senators and tell them you are against this being taught in schools. Stuart, if you'll stay with us, I'm just going to make a couple of announcements, and then we say a prayer at the end. You're welcome to stay if you want. We would love that.
If they can also pull up 8 and 9, cut 8 and 9, that's
Oh my gosh,
Stuart's
thank
Give,
you.
Send, Go.
Right, I wasn't looking.
Yes.
Yes, this is very important.
Yes.
Actually, yes. So the Oath Keepers, who I have nothing but love for, and along with the Proud Boys, like he said earlier, Stuart is the founder of the Oath Keepers. That's where you can reach their general website, but they're doing amazing work to help save this country, and if you can find it in your heart to donate whatever amount you can go to their website. The Give, Send, Go site is on there, and you can scan that. Please screenshot that. Stuart, I'll share that personally for you and through the warehouse's social media to get some eyes on that. And I think the warehouse will be getting involved in his Oath Keeper organization and probably doing some stuff here out of it.
Which is oathkeepers.info is
yes.
the website, right?
Yes, but please, Stuart's been through a lot. You know, everything costs money. Please find it in your hearts to help him, and we'll share that out for you some more. So thank you guys both again for being here.
Thank you so much
Good
for
friends
having
of
me.
ours. We love you both. I am going to bring up, I don't even know the asset numbers because I was so into this conversation I didn't pay attention anymore. Okay, so we're going to start with asset 10, which is the Queens Village Republican Club Lincoln Dinner, which Elena is part of that club, and it's a great time. Joe the Box is the MC again. He was an honoree for the Patriot of the Year last year, and I encourage you all to come and support them. They are the oldest Republican club in the country. It's 151st
51.
year, right?
Yeah, 151st.
And they are so MAGA and total patriots. They're not your establishment garbage Republican club. They are one of us, so follow them. Also, we have Asset 11 and 12. We have the Not So Newlywed game show coming back. We need contestants, couples that have been married. It's hysterical with Fred Rubino, the host. So that's for the contestant. If you could show the other flyer, that's just to come down and enjoy the event that night. We have a lot more things coming, but I'll bring that to you guys next week. But before that, let's bring up Katie J's asset, please. Kevin Downey Jr., our brother. We love him. Oh, but it's not up today. All right, 103.9 LI News Radio. Kevin will be on his podcast here tomorrow and on Live from CO6B Friday night. So, it's up. See that? Oh, it's the old one, but that works. All right, Kev, we love you, and we're going to get to our prayers, and thank you again for tuning in.
Thank you. Want me to do it?
Sure.
All right. Heavenly Father, we come before you asking for your mercy and protection over our nation. We lift up the children and students of New York. Guard their hearts and minds from harm and from any influence that does not honor truth and goodness. We pray for Elena and the work she's doing in education reform and public service. Grant her strength, wisdom, and courage to stand firmly for what is right. We lift up our veteran friend Stuart, asking for justice, restoration, and if it be your will, a full pardon. Lord, we pray for America, for President Trump, and for his administration. Guide their leadership and surround them with truth and discernment as we face this spiritual battle of good versus evil. Let truth prevail. May your will be done in our nation. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And as always, keep your faith strong, your family close, and your freedom alive. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Good night.
See you next week.
Thank you, Stuart and Elena.